let's talk about the watermelon begonia. The Latin name for this plant is actually Peperomia Argyreia, but this plant is actually commonly known as the watermelon begonia. The name is based on the color and shape of the leaves, which really look like watermelons. The leaves are very thick and they grow to about 10 centimeters long. And as you can see, we have bands that are dark green and other bands that are lighter green and almost silvery color. On top of that, the stems are pink. This plant has the watermelon character all over the place. It grows in a compact way, so you don't have to worry so much about space. Now let me tell you how you can keep this plant very happy and healthy at your place. This plant likes to be in warmer places, so keep her in a room that is between 18 to 27 degrees Celsius and not lower than 15 degrees Celsius at night. The watermelon begonia will also thrive in humid places, so try to maintain humidity levels at about 50 to 60%. I noticed that she has some brown edges, so I think it is because she was lacking humidity. Now we have her in a room where we have a humidifier and we tend to keep the humidity about 50 to 60%. And I can see that she's getting way better. The best light for this one is bright indirect sunlight. Just try to avoid direct sunlight because this will burn the leaves. As I said, I have this one in our bedroom and I have two grow lights there, so the light is bright, but I don't have her right underneath the grow light. That way I can provide bright but indirect light, especially now that we're in winter and we don't get so much sunlight. Mothered watering is perfect for this plant. And the way that I know if my plant needs water is that I check with my finger. Once I feel that it is dry, then I water. And I am using the bottom watering method, also watering from the top. Then I let my plant stand in the water for about 15 minutes. And after that, I let the excess water drain down through the drainage holes. This way I make sure that the potting mix is moist but not wet. With this plant, we really want to be careful with water. As you can see, the leaves are very thick. This shows that the plant is actually retaining lots of the water. So we don't want to water her too often or let her standing in very wet soil. That's why I think that the bottom watering method is the best one for this plant. As a beginner, it just helps me prevent overwatering her. Although more rare, you can also underwater your plant. And some signs for underwatering is if you see that the leaves are actually curling down or browning. In order to make sure, just check the soil first and make sure that it is dry. If you feel that the soil is very dry, then you may be underwatering her. In that case, try to water her and observe how it goes. We want to get a potting mix that will help us prevent overwatering. So a potting mix with good drainage should be very good for this plant. I actually use my own potting mix, and for this one I use worm castings for nutrition, coco coir for moisture retention, and of course perlite and or pumice for drainage. This has helped me to protect the roots with most of my tropical plants, so I would recommend that you try it. Now, if you want, you can also use an all-purpose houseplant potting mix, but make sure to add perlite or pumice so you have good drainage. The growing season for this plant starts in mid-spring and ends in the fall. So I would recommend that you only fertilize it during this time of the year. I usually use an organic fertilizer because organic fertilizers tend to be less concentrated than synthetic fertilizers. And this helps me as a plant beginner not to over-fertilize my plant. Always make sure to follow the instructions of your fertilizer and to observe your plant just to make sure that she's happy with the fertilizer that you're providing her. One extra tip that I can give you is that pruning of this plant, especially in the beginning of the spring, will encourage new growth. So your plant will grow, be more full and more compact. How do you take care of your watermelon begonia? Please make sure to comment below. I can assure you that the whole community will appreciate it. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Okay, ciao!